What is
your
this?
land. China didn't.
What the blue-pilled my lifelong conservative mom in 2017. Now she gives history lessons to my Republican family. What the is this?
The amount of land you're allowed to have is personal property because you're using
what the
it for your personal purposes. You can own the car. You cannot own the means of production of the car. And their logic is that in a communist society, you have to give to the masses, like you have to contribute something to the community, and you are allowed to work for your own personal use. What you cannot do is benefit off the labor of somebody else. So their argument is, if I'm one person, when I work, I get paid a salary, right? Mm-hmm. But what I cannot do is make 1,000 other people work, and I don't do any work, and I get paid off of all of their labor. That's what communism says is illegal. The means of production belong to the people. All of the manufacturing is government owned. Now there are all companies, all businesses are government owned. All large tracts of land are government owned. There are a few exceptions, most of them that came from when Hong Kong was returned to China. Hong Kong had been for 100 years British. There were a bunch of Chinese people that were living there that were used to a free economy. And these people are, as you know, very, very wealthy people. They built very big businesses. Well, these Hong Kong billionaires who are used to being free went to Beijing and said, one of two things is going to happen. You're either going to play games, you're either going to deal with us nicely in the sandbox, and we will stay here as a Chinese company in China, or we'll just get the out. We don't have to stick around because we got billions of dollars. So what's it going to be? So there are certain companies like that were able to maintain their companies separately. There are also public companies, because you can have a public company. You can't have a company that is owned by an individual privately. Okay? So BYD, the big competitor against Tesla, that is a public company. It is a Chinese company, but it is publicly owned. And the Chinese government gave a lot of money to get it going, just as our government gives a lot of incentives to get businesses going.
But now, wait a minute. If it's publicly owned, isn't that like our stock market?
Bro, what is happening? This is a meeting of the Debras and the Barbaras. I mean, this is just one video, but it does give me great confidence that perhaps people can be reasoned with. Amazing.
Market? Yes, it is traded on our stock market. It's a Chinese company that is traded on our stock market that I sold all my Tesla stock to buy into.
Oh my God.
Steal our technology. They set their rules. Our businesses knew what the rules were, and they made.
Bro, is this, wait, hold on. Does this person doesn't, this is like verbatim. This is like bar for bar that I have said. I love this
Decision to do business in China.
Yeah, this isn't blue pilling. This is red pilling, dude. This is straight up red pilling in the appropriate way.
China. Our business leaders gave it to them, which sounds crazy until you realize you're the CEO of Apple. You want to go sell Apple phones to 1 billion people in China. Or you want to get access to 1 billion workers who are higher skilled workers. Do you think the CEO of Apple didn't know that to go do that, China says, great, you can come here, but the price of entry is you will share your technology with us. You will teach us. We have to get something out of this too. And what we want is to learn from you. We want to learn your technology. So you have to share your technology, or nobody's forcing them to do business in China. If you don't want that, when you're Apple that your patents are not going to be respected, but you chose to go build a factory there. Well, then you can't then say, now you stole my technology. So what's happened here is you've got a CEO that either is thinking very short term. Let's say you're Tesla and you're like, okay,
a lot of Twitter poll nerds have been saying that for years. If you get the Y moms onto your issue, you'll win that issue. And holy shit. I mean, I make no mistake. This is just one wine mom. Okay. I mean, it starts this way. This is what Mao said when he talked about the spiritual atom bomb. Okay. Of Maoist thought. This is how it works. This is the real spiritual atom bomb.
I'm going to give them all my technology because in the short term, I'm going to have this huge burst of business. My revenues are going to go skyrocketing. You know, I'm going to have this great advantage that makes me as a CEO look great. And
not trying to be uncharitable, but the shock that it's Deborah wine mom, soccer mom, etc., as if housewives don't have intelligent conversations about the economy. No, intelligent people that have conversations about the economy can still be completely invested in intelligent people that oftentimes have conversations about the economy don't actually have this perspective. This is not about intelligence. This is about perspective. Oftentimes, the intelligent people that are having conversations about the economy or even the political economy or even politics in general are having that within the confines of Western liberal capitalist democracy. Seeing the world outside of that, no matter how intelligent you are, is actually unique. You don't have to be brilliant to see the world outside of that. Okay? It just means that your perspective has grown. It has shifted. My brother says Mao was worse than the Holocaust. What do I even say to that? I don't know. I don't know how. I mean, I'm owned. I'm owned in the marketplace of ideas. That's incredible.
The fact that I may be training a competitor that is going to absolutely destroy me in the market 5 years or 10 years from now, well, that's not my problem. I won't be CEO then. I'll let the next guy deal with that. So that's one possibility. And, you know, that's just a business decision. The other possibility is that you're Nike. And if you're Nike, you might say, you know what? Let them make better shoes than us. It doesn't matter because we have the Nike brand. And when somebody goes shopping, they can sit and see two different shoes sitting right next to each other. The shoe A may be better looking and better made, but shoe B says Nike. They're going to pay more money for the Nike because we've got a great brand. So I'm not afraid of, it's not a matter of I'm ignoring the future. I'm not afraid of the future. I will always get out ahead of them because I've got a fantastic brand. Tesla at one time could have said that had Elon not opened his mouth in our government and really destroyed his brand. But my point is, you can't then villainize China and say they're evil because they stole our shit. No, we gave it to them as a business decision in order to gain access to 1 billion consumers or 1 billion Chinese workers.
She has to be a Hasan. Abi Headlaw, this sounds like one of your rants. Well, her daughter is not following me, so
China didn't steal.
I don't think she is.
They're evil because they stole our shit. No, we gave it to them as a business decision.
I have a wine aunt who says if she had the choice, she would join Hamas. To be clear, she is white Zimbabwean. That is insane. But also, that makes... Actually, you know what? That kind of makes sense. It's like that lady in Australia on Twitter. I saw that post from the one woman from Twitter that was like, I'm a 52-year-old Australian woman, and if I had the opportunity, I would join Hamas.
In order to gain access to 1 billion consumers or 1 billion Chinese workers.
This does not sound like a Hasan rant because Hasan uses examples and terms that most chuds can't even comprehend. If he dumbed down his messaging, he'd get more conversions. The way she just explained this process is bar for bar, exactly the same words that I've used, talking about this exact same issue, like down to the IP theft.
It doesn't need to, like, you don't need to pit them as the enemy against us. They don't have an evil economy. They have a different economy. It's a different structure. And some would argue it's more fair, and some would argue it's not. And some would argue the exact same thing about a capitalist society where you have billionaires and then you have people in America who literally cannot find food.